Hi everyone, this is Rachel at StudioUs. We're getting started with another at-home drawing lesson for you guys. Today we're going to be making a really bright and colorful peacock. So go ahead and grab your supplies and we'll get started. Make sure you have a blank piece of paper ready to go, as well as a drawing pencil with an eraser, a large eraser to clear off the big empty spaces once we're done, and a Sharpie marker to go over all your pencil lines. Go ahead and get started. We're going to find the middle of our paper and use that as a guide to mark out the sides, top and bottom of our body shape for the peacock. Go ahead and sketch it in. Mark out the top, bottom, and sides of the head as well, coming up from the side of the body, and sketch that in too. After that, we'll add in the wing, and I mark where it crosses over the line and give myself a couple little dots as a guide to help me get that shape in. Sort of like a sideways teardrop. Mark out the neck, where it starts, where it ends, and two curvy S shapes to get that in. Also going to add in a little beak on the front of the head. Got a few lines to erase, going through the wing, where the neck connects to the body, and where the head connects to the neck. Touch up any pencil lines that got erased. We're going to put in that oval shape for the peacock's face. Mark out the top and bottom for where I see those bumps going. Get 3 in there. For the tail, and mark out where it starts, where it ends. Give myself a rough dotted out guide of the general shape. So I want 4 bumps on that tail, and it kind of flares out at the bottom and curves around. We're going to work inside the shape of this wing, starting right in the middle, build up these feathers. Notice the ones on the bottom, you get a little point and then it curves around, staying inside that line. And then up on the top, the points kind of stick outside of the shape a little bit, so we're going to extend those out a little more. Erase out that line, so we're just left with the feathers. Alright, so we're going to find the middle on the opposite side of the wing and give ourselves 2 little feathers there, an eye, and some lines to get the feathers coming off the top of the head. We're also going to add in a set of 3 bumps to get the feathers extending down the tail. These are inset from that first piece of the tail. Then we're adding 3 more feathers coming off of the first 2 we drew, and adding in the little teardrop shapes on those lines coming out of the peacock's head. Alright, adding in another set of feathers. This time we're doing 4 on the wing. 2 bumps down on the tail, getting a little smaller each time. We've got another row of feathers. We're doing 3 this time on the wing. 1 more bump on the tail. So I'm matching up where the points are on the bumps at the bottom and arcing them around to create that little oval setup shape inside that big piece on the tail. We're also going to finish out the feathers on the wing. So now we're adding 4 ovals in between the bumps in that top portion of the tail, making sure to leave enough room between the oval and the edge of those bumps to fit the whole shape in and give us room to color. Same thing working down the tail. We're doing half ovals so they look a little bit covered up by each row of feathers. Bringing them down all the way to the bottom. And they all fit inside those first shapes we drew. I'm going to go back and add even smaller ovals inside so I've got a nice stacked layered shape there. Make sure to leave enough room that you'll be able to get your Sharpie in there and an oil pastel in there later. Get some of these lines on the tail. What I like to do is start from those points at the lowest part of the arches and then fill in the extra lines in between to kind of space everything out evenly. There we go. Sketch in his little feet. Give him a nice branch to stand on. Try to keep it looking like the reference image, but don't be afraid to just sketch these in. As long as it looks like a stick, we're in good shape. 4 curvy lines to set up these leaves that we're going to draw in. There, we're starting with 1 row, and you just do matched sets of leaves going on either side of the line. These are little pointy leaves. Like a curved V shape on either side of the line. You can make some a little bigger and some a little smaller to add more variation in the shapes. Don't have to get the exact number of leaves on the reference. We just want to make sure they look similar. Alright, and that should do it for our drawing. We're going to grab a Sharpie marker and very carefully trace over all those lines. Take your time with this. I've sped it up so you can see me get all the lines in, but you want to really be careful. Make sure you get every single line and stay right on top of your pencil lines so we don't have any mistakes. There we go. We are ready for coloring. We're going to use Pintel oil pastels for this one. First thing we're going to do is take kind of a gold and yellow color, give myself a line where I see that yellow stopping, and then carefully fill in up above that line. With oil pastels, you want to really take your time, wiggle that pastel a lot. You can see my hand going crazy wiggling there. And get a nice smooth texture. We don't want lots of white spots showing through. Oil pastel gets kind of gunky, I take a tissue and just wipe it off. And what I'm doing there is fuzzing out the color at the bottom so I can blend. Next we're going to take a pink, mark out the line for where I see the pink stopping on the picture, blend into that yellow a little bit, and then fill in the space. And you can see I just colored over that light fuzzy yellow I added at the end. That's going to help those two colors mix together. Go back in and blend a little bit more. Get the other side. Working back up into that yellow a little bit, making sure to blend out those colors. And I'm going to add a very light layer of pink at the bottom, just like we did with the yellow. Going back in, I'm going to grab an orange and blend out into the yellow a little bit. And then grab my golden yellow and blend those colors together even more so I get a nice smooth transition. We're going to take a red purple, put in the line at the bottom, and then carefully outline and fill in all of those white spaces. This one you want to be really careful on because it goes up into the pink, but also goes around all those tiny little leaves, the little details on the legs and the tail. So we've got a lot of small detail there that we want to make sure we're taking care to not color in with the purple. So outline carefully, especially around these little leaves. You can see me going super small in there, getting right between each leaf. And then once you've got them all outlined, we'll go in and fill in, making sure to blend into that pink, going over that light fuzzy area. Very carefully filling in the rest of the white spaces to get them nice and smooth. Fuzzing out the bottom just like we did with the other colors to get a light coat so we can blend into the darker purple. Then we'll grab our pink and just give a light smudge between the two colors to smooth out that gradient. Alright, we're going to grab our darker purple, fill in the bottom of this picture. Still blending into the light purple as we go, and still careful to go around our edges wherever we have them left. There we go. Back in with our red purple to blend between the two colors. And I just wiggle between where the two colors touch to smooth that out. Wiping off any little crumbly bits from the oil pastel. We're ready to go to the next step. So we're going to start with the body. I'm starting with a medium blue, coloring in the top part of the bird's neck. And just like with the background, leaving a fuzzy bit. We'll go on with the light blue, fuzz out the bottom, and then fill it in nice and thick. Blend into that darker blue. Back with the medium blue to blend. We're going to go with the seafoam green color, fill in the rest of the bottom of that bird. Blend into the blue. A little more light blue to help us blend. And we're going to go in with a bright green and get that bright green shadow at the bottom. And blend it out with the seafoam green. Grabbing our yellow, I'm going to look for the yellowy feathers and fill those in. We're going to mix some colors here. So we'll take our seafoam green and color over the yellow to make that color a nice match. Same thing here, we're going to take the seafoam green and fill in the light green ones. Taking a turquoise to fill in the darker turquoise ones. A nice bright green to fill in the really dark green ones that we see in there. do is take that turquoise and layer it over the green to create a more dark green turquoise. Some medium blue, looking for the more blue colored feathers, and then layering the turquoise over those as well. And finally filling in those last few feathers with a light blue and layering our seafoam green over it to mix those colors together. We'll do that same color combination for the wings, so we're going to go in with a light blue first, fill them all the way in nice and smooth, and then take our seafoam green and color over the light blue to get those colors to mix and turn it a little turquoisey. Starting in on the tail, we're going to take our darkest green and get just the top of the tail up there. A little bit fuzzy to blend it out. Then we're taking our regular green color, filling in the rest of the tail, all the way down to those bumps. Finally, we'll take our darkest blue and layer some of that blue over the green to get that nice shadow color. We're going to use the same dark blue get that outer edge around those ovals on the feathers. So the farthest ring out in that little stacked layer of ovals, we're going to color that nice dark blue. I'm going to take a black and add a little bit of shadow along the bottoms just to give it some depth. Taking the golden orange color, we're going to very carefully go around those rings. Be careful not to run into the blue here. If you do, wipe off your oil pastel with a tissue, that way the color doesn't keep smudging. Oil pastels like to pick up the colors around them if you run into them and smudge them around everywhere, so you want to be super careful on these edges. Get a little bit, just wipe your pastel off, color back over it, it'll be just fine. Alright, we're going in with our seafoam green and getting that center layer on our tail. Take a nice dark brown and color in our stick. Again, taking the time to make it nice and smooth, get the color really filled in so it's very vibrant. Taking black to get those feet. We're going to play around with some colors here. Just picking some blues and greens out of the box to fill in those feathers, however you like. It's light blue, dark blue, light and dark green, even the seafoam. Get a little orange on the beak. And finally, we're going to take our regular green and fill in all of those little leaves as careful as possible. Really take your time on these, careful not to go into your purple. After that, we'll take a dark green and just tap on a couple little shadows on one half of each of the leaf to give them a little depth and make them look realistic. From there, you're all set. You've got a beautiful looking peacock. Hope you had fun, and we'll see you on the next one.